Hello everyone, we're back with another video, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about current observations, current storms, what's going on right now, and what's to come in this weather of the United States. So, yeah, it's been a while since I uploaded, but now I'm going to start a daily uploading schedule back. We're about to start grinding. Active times up ahead. So, yeah, and the spring season is also coming, so that's going to be really fun. Severe season, hurricane season. Oh yeah, it's going to be active. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, we're right now at surface analysis, so what's going on currently in our atmosphere and at surface across the entire country. We'll start out here in the west, and right now in the west it's relatively quiet. We have we have some high pressures in place, keeping the western coast and western US relatively quiet. Now there is this whole boundary over here. It's kind of stalled in there, causing some unsettled weather, but mainly just being stalled in there. This will eventually, if we go back a little bit ago, yeah, you can see it's just stalled in there. So maybe causing some unsettled weather, but overall the West has been pretty relaxed in terms of weather. Now, what you do have is this high pressure right here. What this high pressure is doing is dumping crazy cold into the US right now. And I mean, this cold is, even though the high pressure is all the way up in Canada, this cold air is almost getting down to the Gulf Coast. I mean, you can see that cold front crossing into central portions of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, through southern Texas, etc. And so that is a very important feature. Now, besides the very cold temperatures that are coming, this high pressure is going to continue to shift south and spread cold towards the south and eventually eastward as well, and that is already starting to take effect. Now, this cold is very important because right now you also have, if I can zoom in, a winter storm going on. You have a low pressure right here, okay, that's kind of helping to bring this cold air, and what this is doing is also dragging a slug of precipitation right around in here. Okay, this is where your slug of precipitation is right now. This low, along with another low that's eventually going to form, is going to come with this. There's a piece of energy from the north that's going to come down and attempt to merge with this low over here. This low is going to continue moving offshore, okay, pushing this high pressure offshore. Now, I'm going to talk about this later, but this is what's going to bring a major winter storm for areas of southeastern Virginia, northeastern North Carolina, extreme southern portions of Maryland, and even through South Carolina, extreme northern portions might get an icing threat. So that's very important. So yeah, very active conditions going on, and you can see these temperatures are very cold where it is snowing right now. You got teens and 20s towards the east, and you got single digits and snow. That means snowfall ratios are very high. That means that snow is accumulating and sticking to all surfaces very quickly. So that's surface analysis. If we go all the way to the east, relatively quiet for the northeast, and it's a very disappointing day for the Northeast, and has been a disappointing week so far for the Northeast, as that snowstorm that's bringing snow for the Mid-South that was supposed to come, merge, and go up the coast, bringing a historic blizzard. That is not happening, and I'm going to show you why. We're going to go in-depth analysis, because a lot of my folks live in the North and East, and we got to figure out why it's not happening, and what you really do need. We had 3 out of 4 parts to the puzzle to getting a big snowstorm. I'm going to talk about that in the coming parts. Now, here's the alerts and indices by the National Weather Service. As you can see, winter storm warnings, advisories, and even a watch in southern portions of Delaware, all throughout the Mid-South and southern Mid-Atlantic. And then these kind of dark blues are all hazardous cold, extreme cold warnings, okay, through the central U.S. and north central U.S., and then cold weather advisories in the lighter blues, the cyan colors. And so this is gonna probably continue being issued towards the east, and maybe even portions down here towards the south once the storm starts to move out. But you can see this is bringing winter weather all the way portions of northern Louisiana, northern portions of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, even areas of South Carolina, almost the entire state of North Carolina, Tennessee, almost the entire state of Louisiana, Arkansas, the entire state, Oklahoma. So very active times right now. And then in the west, you can see very quiet. However, along that stalled boundary I was talking about, you got some winter weather trying to break out and even reaching back into the Pacific Northwest. So that's that. Let's talk about snowfall accumulations. Now, I know this video I'm making kind of right up during the event, but if you are one of those viewers that's viewing it right after I post it, this will be helpful. So, this is the national blend of all models, and this gives you 72-hour snowfall accumulations. This is a very accurate tool, very accurate tool, because it takes all the computer guidance and model ensembles to predict one likely outcome. So, as you can see, in this lighter blue shade, right in here, kind of in these areas, if you're in between these two black lines I just drew, you're expected to get anywhere from 3 to, I would say, around 5 inches. The darker blues, if you're inside the second and third black lines, more around 6 inches up to. And the purples is 6 plus, so 6 to 12. And then the pinks are actually a foot and more. So very, very significant storm for the Mid-South, even though the Northeast isn't really getting so. So heaviest accumulations is southern Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, northern Arkansas, I said, and even trying to get into areas of extreme southern Illinois, extreme southern areas of Illinois, extreme western portions of Kentucky, northwestern portions of Tennessee, etc. Now, let's head over to the second part of the storm. So, what's actually pretty interesting with the storm is that low actually starts to weaken out. It starts to fizzle out. However, that's due to, you could say, some interaction due to the Appalachians. As you can see, it starts to fizzle out once it gets closer. But you have that northern piece of energy, an upper level trough that's going to be coming through. And it's going to merge with the low way offshore. But since the slug of precipitation is actually off to the west of it, you're going to have a nice precipitation shield forming in these areas, especially, let's redraw that, especially right in here. And areas of Norfolk, Virginia Beach, those are two areas up to 6 to 10 inches is very possible. And I could see someone in this area, maybe localized, getting up to a foot if we see some extreme snowfall rates and heavy snowfall, which is very likely. This also continues to head up, and it does actually clip the capes, especially like Nantucket, where you could also see around 6 to 8 inches. So, man, this was a very close call. This was well inland over here over the weekend, but ever since it has shifted offshore and is sadly out here. Really big bummer for me as I live here in Philadelphia, so definitely very, very unfortunate. But hey, well, at least some of the southern areas get to cash in, but that has been the theme. Okay, we have seen these northern trends head south, and that has been because of poor model guidance, honestly. But at the same time, you can never trust things really far out. So those are snow accumulations. Now let's talk about meteorology. Let's talk about what went wrong. What went wrong in why we didn't get that major snowstorm. Now, I'm just going to stay localized and just go countrywide, okay? We do have the NAO and the EPO to talk about, and AO, whatever. But let's just talk about, those are all teleconnections playing into our major storm. But let's just talk about local conditions in the country. So, this is the run that showed us that major blizzard, okay? That showed us this coming up the coast and causing widespread snows along the I-95. Winter Storm Jonas almost, kind of. Why do you get that? Now, you have a very amped piece of energy. This is when the northern stream, the upper level trough piece of energy, and the southern stream energy comes through and connects. Okay, this is where your energy is. It is hugged along the coast, not too close where you have mixing issues, but just close enough to cause heavy snowfall. And it's amped enough, you have pieces of energy amplifying this, and boom, you get a big storm. You have your trough is negatively tilted, which helps to amp up and bring snowstorms. If it's neutral, it's trying to do something. If it's positive, that's a no-no. So this is our negative trough swinging through, guiding this storm up the coast and causing big-time snowstorms. You have your kicker piece of energy further west, which keeps the flow a little slower and allows this piece to merge more cleanly. If this was closer out here, this would kick everything out and cause a very progressive flow. And so you also have a ridge axis right along the western coast, just offside. If this was even here, that'd be even better. But just off, but still there enough to amplify the southern piece of energy as it comes through. And again, there's where it merges. So if you see that on surface map, that's what you get. A very, very nice storm. 986, your classic nor'easter almost. Now, European model, this is the current 18Z. This is what you have. Your LLO is actually more consolidated, which is good, but it's positively tilted. That is not good. Your kicker is also more amped, causing more problems. And actually, since it's more, you wouldn't want it too far east, but you don't want it further west. The other run had the kicker in a good position. This time it's way too west. Therefore, that ridge axis goes way off the west coast and is not able to amp up this piece of energy. This keeps the flow progressive, and your energy is way out here. Way out here. Let me redraw everything. Your piece of energy is way out here, right here, and while your ULL is back here trying to connect. Therefore, it does not connect until over here. But by that time, it is way offshore and only brings snow off the coast. Okay, the seas are gonna get snow. The ocean is gonna get snow. But that's what went wrong. So yeah, that's unfortunately what went wrong with that setup. Now, what's to come in the next, I want to say 384 hours going into March. Now let's see. So here's your storm, okay, that slides through, stays progressive and just off the coast. It has been trending a little more north than the west, but not enough to bring anything significant, and that goes out to sea. Now, I am watching that upper level energy to bring some flurries and light snow showers to DC, Baltimore, up to Philly, and maybe even NYC and Boston. After that, we kind of enter a quiet period, cold air, and then some moderation towards the end of February. Now, we did have this 18Z GFS has had a little, you could say, fantasy run. And as we go through, you can see it right there. This is another time people have been watching from the EPS ensembles, European models, and the American models. It's still very far out. This is 10 days out. But, and we've seen how this goes. But you do have a trough over here, and you have a ridge axis actually pretty well placed. Nice dump of Arctic air, and your southeast ridge is flexing just enough to get a storm going a little more closer instead of way out to sea. Therefore, you get a snowstorm for areas I-95 points north and west. Coastal plain is most likely rain, just based off the the GFS, and then it changes to snow as it heads out, and colder air just plummets in. After that, it gets way cloudy. This is 300 hours out. But Arctic Blast, again, does something crazy at the end here. But Arctic Blasts continue to look likely. And, we're going to stay cold. And then even at the end of the run, even as this starts to moderate out, you got another one. So, it was looking like a warmer period, but I don't know about that. So, that's about it. Quick video, general video. Tried to talk about more specifics, and here we go with the daily uploading schedule. I'm gonna keep y'all guys all updated. Stay tuned on X, as I'm gonna be posting a lot on there. Have a great rest of your day.